Welcome to this week's episode of the Brew Crew Chronicles, and I'm about to introduce, I reckon you're one of my favourite customers from Crafted Taste.
Yeah.
Am I your favourite Crafted Taste team member?
As long as it creates sibling rivalry, then yeah, absolutely.
I have Will, and we're going to crack a couple of beers, have a chat. We've got lots of things to talk about. You're quite an interesting character, really, aren't you?
Sometimes, yeah.
What did you bring?
I bought a blueberry sour that I brewed from scratch about 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, nice. You want me to do the honours? You're going to do the honours?
Nah, you can.
All right.
It's a boy.
Ooh. You want to finish this whole bottle?
Might as well.
Yeah, why not?
Once it started.
It fits perfectly in just 2 skewies. I never knew that. Did you know that?
No.
No. Drink this first.
I
That
have
would
a
be.
go of this.
Cheers.
So I make the sours for Mel. Bit of a joke behind it though. Every time I'd brew her a sour, she'd get pregnant. So I stopped brewing sours for a while. Now that we've finished having kids, it's safe to brew sours.
It's really good, but it's not like sour. Like, this is the type of sour that people who like necessarily would be like, oh, I'm not a big sour fan. Like, it's still super palatable, isn't it?
Yeah, easy to wean them onto a sour with this.
And I think that, from memory, was one of the first things that you guys bought when you first came into the shop. So you and Mel wandered in one day, unbeknownst to me. I thought you were really down-to-earth, casual home brewer. In reality, you're a bit of a craft beer wanker, which I've now become a craft beer wanker too.
Not really. I don't really have a palate. So as you can see by my face for radio, I don't have much smell when it comes to, like, if I put my nose over a really hoppy beer, I'll be like, yeah, it just smells like hops. Like, I can't be like... Oh,
you can't pick it?
No, I can't be like, that's a grapefruit, passion fruit, this and that. So more better when it comes to taste than it is smell. So, yeah, definitely not a craft beer wanker.
No, more so, I mean, like, in how you brew.
Oh, yeah.
Because you do lots and lots of all grain. You do some really great recipes.
Yes and no. I've gone the opposite. So lately, like, I started with kit and kilo, and then I went all the way up to all grain in my 100-litre uni tank. And now I'm back to whatever I can do as quick as possible to get the taps filled.
You're right. So we're one in the same then.
Yeah.
Back to basics, super easy. But this is great. How do you get the blueberry in? Like, obviously, you said you made it from scratch, so there's no kit.
Yeah, blueberries with this was 2 kilos of frozen blueberries. And some people are probably going to turn over in their grave when I say this, but I just throw them in a pot, blend them up, and throw a bit of water in there to get some water going around. Then I'll throw it through the food processor. I don't even worry about sanitising any of it or anything like that. So that's where they'll turn over, and then just dump it in, put the lid back on.
Yeah, right.
Generally after it's finished fermentation, or like right at the end, and then give it a couple of days. And then this one I didn't cold crash, so I had to cut off a dip tube because my floating dip tubes are all over the place. Yeah, so cut the dip tube off. So there's probably about not that much crap in the bottom of the bottom of the keg. So
do you put lactose in this?
Nope.
Right, because I've actually got a blueberry sour in there that one of the Brew Club members did. And, yeah, if you want to give it a go, you certainly can see the difference. But, yeah, he put lactose in it. And, like, so you don't feel it. You don't really taste it. I know those flies are fuckers, aren't they?
Yep.
And it was just really interesting.
So that was actually, it was a comedy of errors that brew day, because it's actually the last all grain I did. And I split the batch. I used one for the sour and the other for just a really simple pale. But the bottom of my Brewzilla fell out with all the grain in it. No, tell me about it. So it does happen. So then I had my digiboil on as my sparge water. So I had to empty the sparge water and then use the digiboil to catch all the grain, and it was just fun. It was one of those days where it's supposed to be a 4-hour brew day that turns into like a 6-hour brew day because of all the fucking about.
And
makes beer taste better, right?
Yeah. It means you've worked really fucking hard for it.
Yeah.
And so I guess being back to basics, you're doing that because you've got 2 little ones running around?
Yeah, 2 and a third big one. So a 15-year-old, 3-year-old, and 18-month-old. So it's a busy house. I can't fit everything I want to do plus brewing in, so something had to give, and it was the 4 or 5 hours in the shed brewing that that sort of I had to give. I even went to the lengths of filling up kegs at a brewery this week.
Did you really?
That's how lazy I've gotten. So
At least you're not sacrificing a full kegerator.
no, that's right. Yeah, it's not sitting there getting dusty. Yeah, so I've only got 2 on the go. I've got the neighbourhood brewing IPA, which was really good,
I really liked that.
Yeah.
Really liked that.
and then the sour. So they're my only brews that are on tap at the moment.
Like, I still find, and I am kind of now moving more towards those fresh work kits, because I do, like, the quality is so much higher. I think they're definitely, like, I don't even really care for the price point because, you know, compared to your kit and kilo, they're not that much more expensive for the quality that you're getting.
No, that's right. Yeah, the quality, you can't beat the quality. It's like, especially the All In and the neighbourhood guys, they're really good. Yeah, I'll put that neighbourhood down with all intentions of putting it in a keg, but it's sat in the all-rounder, just getting tapped with the Bronco tap.
Well, that's also the advantage of having your pressure
Absolutely.
fermenters too.
Yeah.
You're looking at
Yeah,
mine.
just sitting in one of them and-
Mine's sitting with cleaner in it at the moment.
Yeah. But no, I did a count up the other day. I've got like 8 fermenters just sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah, that's a sad
It's
day,
a shame,
isn't it?
but who knows? One day I might ramp it back up once the kids are back. Kids are in school or with that. But yeah, for now it's just do what I can do to keep the taps full, and if that's go to a brewery or use a wort kit, then that is what it is.
But like,
Still cheaper than buying craft beer from the brew shop. The bottle-o.
yeah, massively. And I still think that you still get that enjoyment of brewing something, drinking it yourself.
Yeah.
It's the process of, okay, this is what I've done, being able to have that end product that you've put the effort into it and you've produced it.
Yeah, and you can go for hours and hours and do an all-grain brew, only to have to pour it out because something happened. Or you could take 15 minutes to do a kit and kilo or 5 minutes to do a wort kit, and you've got beer that's drinkable. And more often than not, very drinkable. Where, you know, I think I've only had 2 kits that I've poured into the grass and 1 all grain that I've had to pour into the grass. You know, 5, 6 years of brewing. That's not too bad. The first one was a cider. I was trying to make it like 10%, and it was just...
Why would you want a 10%
I don't
cider?
know,
You
'cause
just wanted to have a good time.
Because you know when you first start brewing and you're like, if I just add more sugar, I get more alcohol. So more sugar means more alcohol. So let's just throw all the sugar in and we'll have the most alcoholic cider ever. And then it turns out that it tasted like brake fluid. Yeah, mixed with battery acid. So it was, not that I've drunk any of those 2, but yeah. We're saying alcoholic will drink anything. I wouldn't drink that.
Oh, and you know what? There's so many times that people would come into the brew shop and it's like, I want to make an 8%, you know, kit and kilo, or I want to make, and you know, like when you're doing grain and stuff, it seems to be a little bit easier. Like Jesse knocks out some pretty gnarly 8-9% beers.
Yeah, true.
And I guess you can cover it because of the malt bill.
Yeah.
When you're doing a kit, or you're using Dex, or in some people's cases, sugar, to up your ABV,
Yeah.
you can't hide that.
No, not at all. And it just, the yeast just like gets really upset.
Did you at least pitch a few yeasts, or you were just like, let's raw dog 1 yeast for this?
This was like my second brew ever. So
You were like,
absolutely
"What
not.
is-"
I knew everything because I had a Cooper's kit and I was like, oh, I got this, guys. Stand back. I didn't get it.
Oh, so I guess we've spoken a brief description of your evolution of brewing. So
Yeah.
Cooper's kit to start. How long ago did you say? 6 years.
Yeah, so I drove back from Perth with Mel at the end of 2019 and we pulled into her mum's house and her stepdad was there, so my father-in-law. We'd never met. And they were in a garage pouring some liquid into a fermenter. Liquid into a drum was what I was like, what are they doing? Yeah. And we met, said g'day, and I was like, what are you up to here? And he's like, oh, I'm making a beer. And I was like, hey? Because I'd actually tried back in high school, we'd completely forgotten about it. And we'd got the Cooper's kit, but we made the error of just fermenting it for a day or two and then trying to drink it. And
Sweet as hell, no alcohol.
yeah, it was like, yeah, exactly. And so that was, oh, well, it's all a gimmick. Yeah, he showed me and then he goes, oh, I've got some in the fridge. You can try some. I was like, okay. So the first one he gave me was ginger beer. And at that stage, I was drinking a lot of ginger beer because I liked it. I was like, you made this. Like, are you kidding me? You made this. And he's like, yeah, I'll show you how to do it. Because we were staying there for a good 2 to 3 weeks until we moved into our house up here in Brizzy. Fast forward, like, 3 or 4 months down the track and we got locked down for COVID. And it was my birthday and Mel bought me the Cooper's box and was like, here you go, enjoy.
Make some beer.
Yeah, and inside it was also a can of ginger beer because she knew how much I liked the ginger beer that Steve had made. So, yeah, I opened that and went crazy. And then from there, I deployed overseas towards the back end of 2020. So I was still just doing kit and kilo, maybe a coffee jar here to make me think I'm awesome. And, just changing sugars and just slowly learning the basics. Yeah. Watching a lot of YouTube stuff like Little John. Like, he was fantastic, like, in the early stages. I deployed, so I didn't really have anything to practice on. So my way of, like, forgetting about the day of work was to go home, throw some YouTube videos on. But then I started focusing on all grain. I was like, I'm going to learn everything I can before I get home so that when I get home, I can go and buy like a basic bitch all grain setup and crack on. And I actually got my first grain bill from the brew shop.
At my brew shop?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
For such a, like, and we do stock, I think, about 5 types of grain. So I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
So I thought when you guys, maybe you were just an everyday brewer when you guys walked in, and that was when we met, was when you potentially started getting into all grain.
Yeah, so the first one I came in because you got the 1 kilo bags.
Yeah.
And there was 3 ale malts and an American ale malt, and I wanted 4 ale malts. I think it was Jason that was there, and he goes, nah, sorry, that's all we've got. Or I was like, okay, that'll work, whatever, should be right. And I grabbed some 0.5 and some Cascade, and that was about it. And went home with my mates and had a couple of mates over for dinner, and yeah, we gave it a crack. And then I said, should be ready in about 2-3 weeks, and we'll come over and drink it. And still to this day, it's probably one of the better like pales that I've brewed.
Yeah, right.
Because it was really slow and methodical the way I went through the process. And, like with anything you do, whether it's housework, whether it's brewing, whether it's work, you find ways to cut corners and efficiencies. But when that first all grain one, like, I did it. And it was only brewing a bag as well. So I was really methodical in the way I was doing everything. And it came out quite a nice beer. And
well, like a lot of the recipes that Dad does, it's like literally 4 kilos or generally 3 kilos, because he doesn't like his really high ABV stuff. Like 3 to 4 kilos of either pale malt, American pale, or American ale, and then like a kilo of wheat, or he might throw a pilly or something like that in it. And they're just super easy, nice beers.
Well, that's sort of my sort of philosophy, for the want of a better term. It's easy to brew, easy to drink.
Yeah.
Because if you, I've found that you make it too hard to brew. Like, sometimes it's not what everyone wants to drink. I don't have many mates that are craft beer wankers. So, like myself, as you've...
Well,
I'll take that pot shot.
I think it is as a compliment, but I guess I have to be careful of calling people all grain wankers.
Yeah.
Because it's a little bit of a joke that we have that, like, once someone moves to all grain, and like even Dad came out to me once after he started doing a bit more all grain, he's like, I am an all grain wanker. And it sounds like such an endearing term, but it's not. It's that you kind of like get to this point that you're making, and you should be really proud and happy with the quality of beer you're producing. But there's, I guess, lots of people who are brewing that way that I guess look down on those of us who just want to brew fucking simple
Yeah.
king killer or fresh work.
Just get it in the kegerator for the party on the weekend.
Yeah. So I kind of like put you all under, I guess, the craft beer wanker
Yeah.
term, because I can get away with that a little bit more than I can of calling people all grain wankers, because they do think I'm being insulting, but it's not. But yes. So we'll move on from that.
And so none of that was pressure fermented. And then I finally got a couple of pressure fermenters. Dave, the old owner of Tannins, gave me a 60-litre Firmzilla, which was great because then I upgraded at the same time with the 65 Brewzilla. Then I saw on Marketplace the uni tank with glycol chiller. And I was like, will you take this for it? And he's like, yeah, sure, whatever. But got to come pick it up out at Samford. Like, yeah, no worries. And just threw it on the back of the ute. Had no experience with glycol before, so I was going full cowboy into it. And then I realised I needed to go and buy a few things for it because it wasn't fully perfect the way I wanted it. Like I wanted a spunding valve, and what else did I want? I wanted disconnects for it so I could easily just pop it in and go. So I waited for all that to come in, and I finally put a brew down in it. And but then I've brewed in it like 3 or 4 times, and every time our electricity bill has gone through the roof.
Yeah.
So if you are considering a glycol chiller, consider your electricity bill, especially if you're doing a lager. So I did a lager in it, and that's like a month of the glycol chiller pumping through.
How much do you reckon it adds to your bill?
400 to 500.
Bullshit, that much?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a fucking expensive lager.
It is. And when you go, oh, well, you know what, but each keg probably cost me $23 to do. You try and justify it to yourself, and you go, $23 to do a keg, that's 2 cartons roughly, so I'm paying, $11.50 for a carton, plus a $400 electricity bill. You might as well have gone and bought, well, I got 4 cartons out of that. No, 4 kegs out of that, so 8 cartons, but still, $50 a carton.
But also when you could be getting that exact same brew and just chucking her in a fridge, rather than being fancy and basically temperature controlling with a glycol unit.
Yep, exactly. So that might be out the door. That's something a brewery can run off. Like it's not for me. I prefer the little all-rounders or the chubbies and that sort of stuff because they do exactly the same thing. You just got to chuck them in the fridge.
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
the hard part, picking it up and lifting it into the fridge.
Yeah, definitely. Well, even like at the shop, like when I'm fermenting, and I am going to do a bit more fermenting here, like while I have quite a decent sized fridge, the freezer's jam-packed full of food, so I can't temperature control it.
No.
It's also got a whole lot of craft beer in there that I don't want to go warm and I need to keep. So I don't particularly want to get another fridge. So I think I'm just going to use the cooler bags here as well, which is what we use at work.
Yeah.
In the garage, I don't like my chances of getting it down to lager temps, but like we can brew to 12 degrees in those cooler bags at the shop, which is pretty fucking cold.
Yeah, that's
for
cold,
a cooler bag.
Yeah.
And it consistently stays there because even as the ice bricks kind of defrost, the brew takes a long time to warm up.
Yep.
So because
because
they're getting changed because someone's always in there, the brew just stays a nice steady temp.
Yep.
And things like the wrapped pill from Kegland, we can actually track it. You're not relying just on the little stickers and stuff.
Yeah.
You can see in real time. And if it does go up, cool, switch them out.
Well, that was what was awesome about what's awesome about the uni tank is you've got 2 points of temperature control. Like I've got obviously the unit on the glycol chiller plus the Inkbird that runs then runs the glycol chiller. And yeah, that was the beauty about it. Like it was holding a really constant temperature.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I got some really good beers out of it. But could I have done that with the same equipment I have? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And have I done it before? Absolutely. The beauty about it though is that when you are time poor and you can do one big brew day, then you don't have to brew for 8 weeks or so. Well, it depends how fast you drink and how many people you have over. But yeah, And that was the purpose of getting it, was so I could brew 2, 3, 4 times a year, have as many kegs as I needed. And yeah, but it just hasn't turned out that way. But I am, one of the other reasons why why brewing is fun to me is I am a really generous person. And I've got friends that don't brew but have kegerators. And I'll often say, hey, I've just done a pale or a lager. Do you want a keg? And they'll, yeah, absolutely, I need one. And like, that's cheaper than going, here, have 2 cartons of craft pale ale.
But it's also the fulfillment that you feel
absolutely.
with sharing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like, you're a big one for, I guess, having people around, sharing beers, talking about that. And I think that there is an aspect to brewing that's why we also do it, is to share in that community.
Yep. And there's not many times you'll go to a home brewer's place and you don't take something and you don't leave with something.
Yeah.
And I'm not fully immersed into the home brewing community. Like, I'm not part of a club. I don't have an inner circle of home brewing friends. Like, I ride very solo when it comes to home brewing. And there's a couple of reasons for that. The first one is it's for me, and it helps me, and it gives me something to do. And then the other one is it's you know, for us to drink at home. Like, yeah, I'm sure I could go out and join a couple of the brew clubs around, and I'd learn so much, and I might have something to give as well in the education world. I don't have time as well. And my social circle I tend to keep pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are a couple of reasons why I don't join a brew club.
I reckon that's going to be a good segue to our next point. Do you want another drink?
Yeah, we will. We will.
Do I do the gozer?
Yep. I drink nearly everything. I'm not a West Coast fan. Sorry, Brewy. One of my close mates, he brews, loves his... I'll do the honours on this one.
Now she will, because
it's a go.
She's she's got a fair bit behind her. I might even get to the tray.
You even cleaned the trays?
I emptied it. Don't worry, I didn't clean it.
All right, we're going for it.
This was made by Simon.
Yeah.
At the club. His knowledge blows me.
I remember opening my first brute IPA, and it was just like,
boom.
Yeah.
Cheers to you.
Cheers to you. Yeah, see, all I smell is a little bit of lemon.
You smell more than me. This is, we were assessing the beers at the club, and Andy says to me, what's your say on it? And I'm like, saying a whole lot of bullshit. I was like, is that enough? Because that's all I've got for you. I was like, I either like it or I don't. I don't care about your guidelines. I don't care about the judging criteria, because to me, you probably haven't done a lot of competitions. I certainly don't want to enter any, and I have no interest in getting the certification. I see where it's necessary, but there's some beers that score really high, and then there's other beers that score really low, but it's the beers that score low that I'm like, well, that's actually heaps nicer.
Well, taste is always subjective as well. But also I get that they go through their, whatever they do, their certification, accreditation, whatever it is, to be a judge. But still, there's always that element of subjectivity when it comes into it, where if you could break the beer down and go, yes, that is exactly what it said, and do it scientifically, you might find that some of those results are a little bit different. We can, because you can only taste the IBUs, not actually go measure it out after it's brewed and all that, because a lot of the time it gives you an indication on Brewfather or Brewsmith or whatever app you're using. But when it comes to the taste part, it's all subjective. Not bad, Simon.
Yeah, so it's a goza, I guess, it's meant to have notes of coriander, a little bit of salt. I did try a saltwater sour. I think it's Slipstream. I absolutely fucking hated it. It tasted like salt. It was true to its name. But this one I drank and I was like, fire, I actually really enjoy this. I guess it's more the feel of the salt. I don't actually taste salt.
I can taste the salt in there. Definitely. Coriander, not so much. And I love coriander. I'm not one of those people that are anti-coriander. good sour that we've had recently, commercial-wise, is the Wayward Acai Bowl.
Okay, I haven't had it.
Tastes like a smoothie.
Does it?
Tastes like a breakfast smoothie beer sour. It
Yeah,
is
really.
awesome. That's the best way to describe it. Like, it's so... You know the taste of acai when you're... It's pretty much like that. And
Really?
yeah, we got a couple left in the fridge, which are unreal. So, yeah.
Moving into why you brew for mental health reasons, perhaps we should touch more on, I guess, your past. We did talk about deployment and all of the things that have led up to that. So you want to give a brief overview?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was in the military for 16 and a bit years and in the army, and I deployed 7 times overseas. And sort of come my last deployment, I was in hotel quarantine, and just things just sort of went, like, slipped down at a rapid rate, being in sort of isolation by myself. Probably a lot of beers and a lot too many beers in there, because at the time Jimmy Brings was my best mate. And then after that, like, things just weren't falling into place in my noggin too well. Caveat this with a bit of a trigger warning, like I will talk about some things that might trigger people. I became quite suicidal, and I walked into... Well, I spoke to Mel the night before about it, and then she goes, we'll go and see, because she army herself. Said, well, let's go into work the next day and talk to your boss about it. And the next thing I knew, I was in New Farm Clinic as an inpatient to figure out what was going on. Eventually, we, like a lot of psychiatrists and psychologist visits, was diagnosed with PTSD, depression, anxiety, all stemming from my military career.
And it's a lot.
Oh, it's huge. Yeah.
Like, what you guys go through, 7 fucking deployments.
Yeah. And it was all voluntary as well. It was always
Yeah.
like, do you want to deploy? And I was like, yeah, fucking oath I will. Like, absolutely I will. It was never, you will go, because, like, yeah, it was always, who wants to go? And I was like, yeah, I'll go, send me. Like, the cash was great.
Yeah.
The experience was great. Yeah, but it then came with the follow-on effects, which is what I sort of go through now and have gone through previously, and not so much now. Getting, like, still ebbs and flows, and I have my good days and my bad days. But, you know, they talk about, you know, mindfulness and visualization and self-care and all those things. And I found that one of the best things for me during that time was the process, the concentration, the smells, the tastes, the scent, like the heat, you know, you're feeling off the sweat of the boil, and the sense of accomplishment afterwards, because at the time I was feeling quite worthless and useless from the army, and when I was brewing some beer, I felt like that was giving me this really good sense of accomplishment. And when I would get down or go through an episode or something like that, I could quite easily just go to the garage and do something. There's always something to do in the brewery, whether it's sweep the floor, whether it's sort my bottle caps out into red, green and gold, whether it was to measure up a grain bill for 2 weeks down the track and just seal it in a bucket, whether it was to do something like those processes and the mindfulness that I got out of brewing, like, that was awesome. Like, guys meditate, people go for a run. At that stage in my life, like, brewing for me was like 10 steps away from my bedroom. The hardest part was getting to the brewery, but once I was there, that was sort of a big part of my, and that and footy, massive parts of my recovery, and still will be for mainly footy, for a long time, because it's, and they talk about, like, safe spaces. Like, the brewery for me, a safe space. Footy, safe space for me. That, like I said, the hardest part was getting from the bedroom to the brewery. Once I got to the brewery, there's always something to do. There's always a keg you can clean. There's always a fermenter you can clean. There's always something that you can just do to get that little, I did that and I made it happen. And I was all about writing lists to go, this is the shit I needed to get done. And then when I didn't get it done, and, clean kegs, clean Brewzilla, make grain bill, blah, blah, blah. Then when I didn't get the whole list done, I'd be like, fuck, I failed. Like, I didn't achieve what I wanted to do. So then I flipped that and said, the list can get fucked. At the end of the day, I'm going to come in and I'm going to say, write the list of the things that I did. So, you know, wash glasses, clean taps, did this, did that. And then I go, say to myself, look at what I did today. So that, as part of my journey, was really good for me. And like if anyone else can find that, they get that, and I've given them the idea to do that with their brewing, then I'm helping.
Definitely. And I think that was a big reason why I expanded this stuff so much. When I finished up at Craft to Taste, I went through that little bit of time where I was like, what am I doing? And I felt a bit like I wasn't doing what I wanted to. I didn't have anything that I overly enjoyed. And while I didn't need to necessarily immerse myself in specific processes, but this has given me a drive and a focus that I didn't think was possible.
Yeah.
That, you know, you talk about, making beer, and you do think you just make drink to drink beer. Make beer to drink beer. But I'm like, what I get out of this is a level of like enjoyment and fulfillment that I would never have imagined.
Absolutely.
And I never thought about it because people talk about, you know, grounding yourself.
Yep.
What can you hear? What can you smell? What can you see? What can you feel?
Turn a brew up. You get that.
And I did not even think about it until you said, like, you feel and that is the perfect, like, put into practice. And especially for blokes, and you would know, coming from a military background, I'm sure most of your friends,
footy.
Footy, and most of your friends are male. You know, men aren't like, let's go stand on the grass and smell the fresh air. This is a way for men to be able to be mindful.
Without knowing they're being mindful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And without the pressure of it.
Yeah.
And to do something that they enjoy.
Absolutely. And every brew is different.
Yeah.
Like I try not to go back to back to back same brews. Because I think that would cause a bit of a boredom factor.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I say, simple to brew, simple to drink. I'll still make my stouts. I'll still make my porters. I'll still make my brews for me. But that won't be at the expense of the rest, just the process and the sours, keeping a sour on tap for Mel, and we like the ciders as well, but I just make them from juice now. But yeah, so the ones that I do just for myself, they have that little, I tend to bottle them so that they have that sort of special factor about them, so that there's just, they're mine kind of thing. And that's generally what I'll do when I brew my stouts or with porters, anything dark, because Mel doesn't drink dark. I tried to make her a dark sour. It was like a very light, I'm tapping into the memory bank here. It was like a light stout base, and then I put cherries in.
Yummy.
So it was I tried to make it like a cherry ripe stout without the coconut. So that doesn't make sense. So a cherry chocolate stout.
Yeah.
But she didn't like it, so I had a whole keg of cherry stout to...
Have you tried the Heads of Noosa Dark Lager?
Yes.
She didn't like that.
No.
Bullshit.
No.
I really thought that beer would convert anyone.
No. It's like I could brew a white stout and her mum wouldn't drink it because it's white.
Yeah, okay.
Because it's not dark. But put a 2 years old in front of her, bang, gone.
There you go.
I've even brewed black IPAs and it's like, nah, it tastes too much like white beer. They call it white beer and dark beer, so it tastes too much like white beer. It always keeps you on the toes trying to brew to families and friends' tastes.
Yeah.
And so like if you know your friends that are coming over for like a baby shower, a New Year's Eve party or something like that, so, and you know weeks in advance, so I go, oh, well, I know Mel's coming over, I've got to brew a sour. I know this bloke's coming over, he just likes beer that tastes like beer because 4X Gold is his thing. But yeah, and then I will have one of really crafty beer on, like whether it's a XPA, like a, or it's a pale or a, some stupid NEPA or something like that. expensive NEPA. So yeah.
Yeah, look at Jesse's grain bills, because I always thought all grain was substantially cheaper than kit and kilo.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is.
Yep.
And then I looked at Jesse's. I was like, fuck, mate, this is costing you a fortune.
It's the hops. The hops kill you.
Especially when he's doing like a 300-400 gram dry hop.
Yep.
And I'm like, fucking hell.
I think you just pinch it from the shop. Yeah.
Yeah, look, no, we do pay. Like, obviously, we get a discount.
Mates' rates.
But, it's still even that. Like, but when you considering it for like a normal consumer, like when we're sharing out those recipes,
Yeah.
you do an 8% nipper with, overall, 500 grams of hops from the boil to the whirlpool to your dry hop.
Yep.
It's a fucking expensive beer.
Still cheaper than buying 2 cartons of fucking and that's what how I keep justifying it to myself. I might spend $100 on 2 kegs.
Yeah.
But where am I going to get that? From what bottle shop am I going to get 2 kegs? 2 cartons of craft
That quality.
Yeah. We can justify it however we want, but then the next bit of kit you buy just cancels that out.
And then I think we're probably on to our last point, unless you've got any others. I want to hear your jungle juice in Afghanistan story. I thought that would be a good way to finish.
Yeah, I just hope I don't get anyone in trouble here, but no, I think most of the people that were there are either out or, or we'll be right. She'll be right. I won't mention any names. So we're there for like 7 months. It was during COVID, 7 or 8 months, and it was during COVID. We wanted a drink. We got a carton sent in to us for Christmas.
A carton among how many of you? Or
6 of us, 6 or 7 of us.
You said they don't go very far for boys who want to drink.
And that's the reason. So there was about 8 or 9 of us actually in the end that had 1 or 2 beers each, and then so we got that sent through for Christmas and 1 sent through for Australia Day. And I think the conversation was something along the lines of, geez, I could get absolutely shit-faced today. And then there's, in the dining facilities, there's these V8 juice cans. There's blueberry and banana and raspberry and pomegranate. So I got all up 90 cans.
How much is that in litres? What are they, 500?
The 250ml cans.
Yeah, okay.
So, quick maths, don't know. But
A decent amount.
and then we also got a box of sugar, but they were all one. So we had to rip up like 1,000 sugar satchels. So I sanitized a bin
So how'd you sanitize it?
with bleach,
No!
bleach and hot water, and then bleach and boiling water, and then lots of boiling water afterwards and then more boiling water afterwards. So then sugar went in with some boiling water, stirred that around, and then it was just crack, empty, crack, empty. And then you probably wonder, how do we get yeast? So the American postal system, you could pretty much get anything you wanted as long as you could buy it online. So I found a turbo fruit wine yeast online, and it came in a big fucking square packet, and well, that'll do. Yeah, so in the bin we had the 90 cans of that, threw the turbo fruit wine yeast in, Glad wrap over the top, and then the lid of the bin on top, so it was sort of like an airlock. And then left it for a good week and a half. We didn't have any way to cold crash. We didn't have a siphon or anything, so we got a big funnel, and then I got these 2 20-litre collapsible camping water dispensers, and filled the majority of one up through the funnel and just pouring it in, and then a bit, like half the other one. And then we went over to some partners, some friends, little compound or living area, and yeah, it went bananas. It was probably about 14%.
You reckon? So did you secondary ferment it? Like, so
No.
it went bubbly? No, you just raw dogged this.
And then
Oh.
it was juice. And then what we didn't realise is one of our mates, who wasn't part of our team, was putting rum in the cups and then putting the juice on
Oh,
top.
proper jungle juice.
So we had 1 or 2, and I was like starting to feel, whoa. But then one of my mates had 1, and he said, no, I started feeling the effect of 1, so I thought someone needs to be the responsible adult here. So he didn't have any more. And then the rest of us are just drinking it like it's fucking lolly water, like breakfast juice. And then Yeah, somehow we had a campfire going, and I threw a jacket into my campfire. I split my head open on a camping fridge when I fell over. Yeah, it was a wild night. We haven't been caught up until now, but
Busted.
that was like nearly,
Something tells me the army's not watching my YouTube channel.
No, it was probably like 5 years ago. So yeah.
Oh, that's so wild. But like honestly, when you stuck, no, I don't want to say stuck. I think for me, it feels like you'd be stuck. But I guess for you guys, it's a different feeling. In a place like that, I guess you do want to let loose sometimes. And it was probably a bit of fun too.
Aussie soldiers will always find a way.
Yeah.
You can put whatever restrictions in, but they will find a way. And we found a way. And I hadn't even started all grain brewing yet. I hadn't even started anything like that. I was just reading and researching, and then I did more reading. I like, how can I ferment? Is this fermentable? You know, and just kept Googling everything. And yeah, I mean, if you check my search history from back then, you would have known that that's exactly what I was trying to do, was brew piss on a deployment so we could get pissed. But
What did it taste like?
it was delicious.
Really?
It tasted like pretty much like those 4 fruits: apple, strawberry, banana, pomegranate.
It wasn't whiny?
Yeah, a little bit whiny, but yeah, but because we hadn't tasted anything,
True.
it was God's nectar.
Yeah, I bet it was.
Yeah, and the other thing was, everyone that drank it spewed their guts up all throughout our living accommodation. I woke up in a pool of blood because of my head, and spew from my from the jungle juice, and and headaches for days.
Yeah.
Because we just hadn't drunk that much in that location, different temperature, different climate, everything. And
Was it worth it?
fucking no. And would I do it again? Absolutely.
Fucking oath I would. Next time, make sure there's 180 cans of those juice.
There'll never be a next time.
Oh, very good. Did you have anything else that we didn't cover?
No, not really. Well, we could go on for hours and hours.
I reckon we could, but I also think some of the things probably aren't for the internet.
Yep. No, especially when you talk about deviousness overseas. I'll give you 1, and that's it.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining me.
No dramas, anytime.
I think I might send you home with Jesse's Nipah.
Okay.
If you want to give that a go.
Yeah, well,
That's not one for today because you can't drive after
can't
it.
drive after that. No. All right.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thanks for having me.
Thank you.